Welcome back. An exciting day today because not only are we back in our rhythm mode with the beginner rhythm and counting series, but we are on level number 2. And if you've been following along with me and you've conquered level number 1, congratulations. Level 2 is actually a little bit easier to start out with because we are introducing 2 very important notes, note sizes, half notes and whole notes. Now, before we get into that, let me just mention where you can get this from. And if you're following along, great. If you're not, and this is your very first time seeing this video, then I have something to show you. And that is this proteanman.com. There's a link in the description below if you're on YouTube. You can come here, proteanman.com right there, or right up here, /music-education. You just hover over the courses, go to music education. You can find this exact course. It's right here, the beginner rhythm and counting course. This is where you get all the materials and the pages that we use in these videos. You can print them out as many times as you want, follow along, and do your best with that. And that way, you're not just watching, you're actually participating. It's an important thing. You click here, you will get this wonderful page and maybe something slightly different. It changes over time, but either way, it'll explain what this is. It'll give you the first page to try out for free as well. You can do that. Go back to the first video and follow along, and I promise you this course will just skyrocket your rhythm abilities and understanding. It's important because rhythm is number 1. It is the number 1 thing in music all the time, and understanding how rhythm works will really just help everything else become so much easier. So get that course. It's all there for you. In the meantime, we're going to get right into the action in level number 2. Now, these rules are the same rules they've applied to every single thing ever since we started, and that is, number 1, show me each beat or pulse. Number 2, only show what's needed. And number 3, write clearly and concisely. Your job is to make it as neat and clean as possible, and that way you're helping yourself out and you're helping someone else out if they're reading the same music as you, because counting is important and understanding how it works is key to all of that. So, today we're talking about some very important notes, and that is these right here, half notes, and then down below on the next page, let me just pull that up, you will have whole notes right here as well. So in the meantime, we're going to go back to the first page, and we have half notes rolling along. Now, let me just show you a few different things, because if you have not watched the music basics lesson videos, that's a different playlist on my YouTube channel, Proteus Ed on YouTube, which you're hopefully on right now anyways. Well, I explain different sizes of notes, being quarter notes, which are 1 beat each. We have half notes, which are 2 beats each, and we have a whole note, which is just an open circle, which will look like this on the line, and that is 4 beats. Inside each bar, we have 4 beats, which means that a whole note is the entire bar taken up by a single note. So if I took this bar here and I brought it down and I made it almost the exact same with a whole note, it would look just like this. And we count it as 1, 2, 3, 4. Very, very simple stuff, because rule number 1 being show me each beat. There's all the beats right there. You're done. It's easy, and you are finito or finished or however you want to say it. All done. So let's get right into it with number 1. There's nothing really new except for those 2 notes. And because we know to show each beat, this sheet, level 2, is going to be quite easy in comparison to level 1 with that sort of steep learning curve that we all took following along. So, number 1, all together, you can count it. Hopefully you've already finished the entire sheet. You've gone through and you've counted, or as much as you can. And just to give you a reference, right here, you'd put both beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, not 12 and 34, like some of my students say sometimes. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and you are finished with that bar. So going back, here we go. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Old stuff, we know this. Next bar, because that's the bar line right there. We will go back to 1, it resets. 2, 3, 4. There's the bar line. I've already finished this bar with 1, 2. There's the first and second beat, and there's the third and fourth beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bar line, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. My writing's a bit messy today. I apologize. I'm kind of on a slant for some reason. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know that there's people that look at handwriting and they can tell you what kind of mood you're in based on your writing styles. It's really interesting stuff, but that's not for me. Either way, we're going to get right back into counting and clapping because it is also a very important thing. So we have my hands right here for you, and we have a metronome running, and you're going to follow along and you're going to copy me exactly. You're going to do the same thing as I do, which is clap on the beat, and you're going to count out loud. So just to reiterate, we are counting what we wrote underneath, and we are clapping the notes that are attached. And here's where it's a bit different than level 1, because level 1, there's only eighth notes and quarter notes. And what that means is that every single note and every single counting are all there. But here we have half notes and whole notes. Let me turn this off for a second. Half notes and whole notes. Turn that off. There we go. Because here we have 1, 2 counting. So you're still saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But you're only going to clap once on the start of these notes, which is 1 and 3. 1 and 3. 4 is kind of, let's put it in brackets just to make it a bit more clear. 1 is the beat. I'm going to erase this and make it a bit more pretty for you. 1 with a 2 in brackets and 3 with a 4 in brackets. And that way you can see that we have 1 starts it. So we clap on 1. We say 2, but we don't clap. Here we play and clap 3 and say it, and we don't play, but we do say 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And let me show you with my hands on the same bar, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I'm doing is I'm holding my hands together, and that way you can see that I'm playing that note and I'm holding that note. So if you're playing, let's say, a wind instrument or a string instrument or any instrument really, you're trying to hold that note, the sound, for the entire length of that note, which is 2 beats long. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're playing into the next invisible note, which your teacher can probably explain to you even more in detail later on. So here we go. Let's clap this bar, this same bar right here all together, and then clap this one right after it, and then this one, and then we'll go back and we'll do the entire thing just to recap. And that way we'll kind of put this puzzle piece together and we can rock and roll through the rest of the sheet. Here we go. So that bar we just talked about, 1, 2, clap and count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's it. Really, really simple stuff. So there is the metronome. Going back to the very beginning, let me just clean this up so you can see it nice and clearly. There we go. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Easy stuff, right? Next bar, number 2, or next entire line actually. Let's count this together. Hopefully you've finished this already on your sheet and you're just checking your answers as we go along. So we have 1, 2, there's beat 3, and there's beat 4. I have all 4 beats. There's the bar line. I'm finished because I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just checking back and forth as I go along, and hopefully you are too. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the next bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's totally wrong. What am I doing? I'm thinking that's a whole note for some reason. A half note. You see where my head is today? It happens to everybody. We all have one of those days. And what do? We just keep pushing through as best as we can because this is exactly that day. Look at that. Look how Messed up, that is. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me check this myself because I can't trust myself. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 beats. 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're good to go. Bring it all back up. So here we go. Clapping and counting. Number 2, all together. You can always pause and rewind and do it again. I'll just do it once with you. Ready? 1, 2, number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Right? We're done after 4. So I'm going like this. So we have 2, 3, 4, done. Just to show that we're holding that 4 all the way to the very next beat, which is an entirely new lesson. We haven't even talked about that at all. Okay. Number 3, if you're wondering what's happening, this is all new to you, I suggest you go back in this playlist, which is the basic, rhythms basic, or beginner rhythm and counting, and you can find lesson number 1, lesson 2, 3, 4, and so on, and just follow along, and you'll pick it up because I explain all these things in detail as we roll through every single sheet, and that way you're not skipping any steps. It's important. It's important we get everything along the way and not skip too much. So counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's some eighth notes. New bar, 1, 2, 3. I'm still watching for those bar lines. 3, 4, and there's the bar line. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and there's the bar line. 1 and put that under where it should be. And 2, 3, 4. I think my head's in the right place now. 1 and 2, 3, and there's 4. We have all 4 beats. Eighth notes have the ends. We are set up. We're just checking it as we roll along. And now we're back in action with our counting and clapping. All together, copy me, and you just follow along and repeat, repeat, repeat. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Done. Easy, right? Number 4, we're rolling through this sheet so much faster. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, just as a side note, just to slow down a bit, I've seen people do this. 2, 3, 4. And yes, technically they're right, because you can say that 2 is still here because this note is rolling through into, and it stops basically right here where 3 picks up. But I would argue that it's a little bit confusing, especially when you're going really fast, and your best bet is just to huddle them together a little bit closer. And the reason being, as an example, if I take away the music, you can tell that these up here are going to be half notes because they're huddled together, right? These 2 here will not be half notes because they're not as close as this. So I can say quarter, quarter. I can say half, right? You can kind of figure it out. So the counting should also help you figure out what's going on. And if I put the music back, you have exactly what I just did with a half, quarter, and quarter, right? Like working backwards in mathematics. It's the same idea. Next bar, number 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2, 3, 4, and all finito, all done. except for one important thing. You ready? 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1 and 2, 3, 4. And done. You're probably loving these half notes because you don't have to clap so much all the time like eighth notes. A lot less work, but if you're playing a wind instrument or a string instrument or something where you have to hold that note, which is really a lot of instruments, as most instruments, then it's just as much work because you still have to put the air and the pressure and the movement into that sound. All right. Last section. We're just rolling right through this whole thing. Number 5. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Going faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the bar line. 1 and 2, 3, 4. There's the bar line. 1, 2, and 3, 4. There's the bar line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I really want you to try and do these lines, each one before I get to it. Even if you just look at it and say 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, and so on. And that way you sort of visualize it a little bit more before you get the answers, right? Because you're not trying to copy the answers. You're trying to you already have the answers. You're just checking them, just making sure all there. And the last part together. Number 5, clapping and counting. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. That whole note at the end, watch the last bar there in number 5. That whole note is really important. It's 4 beats long. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. So I'm holding that note. I'm playing it with your wind instrument. Let's say playing a trumpet or a flute or a clarinet or even an oboe, the wonderful oboe. Then you're blowing through the entire note and you're playing from the beginning all the way through those 4 beats until this imaginary 5th beat. It's very important. And what I mean is, imagine there is another beat here, another quarter note here, an invisible one. You're playing all the way through with 1, 2, 3, 4, and here on this beat is where you stop. You don't stop on 4. You don't stop anywhere in between 4 and there. You stop right at the next beat. That's how that works. And hopefully your teacher will fully agree with me, because that's the goal, these full-sized, wonderfully played out notes. Number 6 all together. Counting 1 and 2, 3. There's 4. Put a 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. And a whole note, really easy. There's the bar line, there's the bar line. So I just put 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm done. Easy stuff, right? Clapping and counting. Here we go. 1, 2, number 6. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Right? I'm positive you're getting the hang of this. Last one, level 2, culmination of some of the things, because these take up a lot of space. So we have a lot of 8th notes, just reiterating old habits, bringing back some things and mixing it together with 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2, 3, 4, and. Easy, right? Here we go. Clapping and counting, number 7. You can always repeat. Just rewind the video and do it again. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. And 1 and 2, 3, 4, and done. You're finished. Level 2 is on the rise, on the way. We're rolling through. Really exciting. I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy you're still pushing through all of this because it's a wonderful thing, and I promise your abilities are going to begin to skyrocket so fast, especially now that you understand how eighth notes and quarter notes work together with half a beat and a full beat, and as well as rests, because we have to include rests. They are a very important part of music, the silence, and that comes in a bit as well in level 2. After the next sheet, we'll include some more rests with whole and half rests. I've said that word quite a bit already. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.